we're going to get a much bigger surge.
This is a Category 2 storm in terms of winds, but it's a Category 4 or 5 in terms of storm.
From an outsider's perspective, Chris Nocera looks like a normal guy. Wonderful wife, 2 beautiful children, a home close to the Texas Gulf. But there is one thing that separates Chris from all others on this street, in this town, even in Texas.
That'd be great, you could just do that.
His mantle place. Because it holds the 4 Emmys that Chris has won in the past 12 months for editing and producing for KHOU, the local CBS affiliate. So far in my look into objectivity in media, I've looked at how reporters themselves manage to keep themselves out of a story, the perspective of those unique enough to find themselves reported on a daily basis. But now, it's time to look deeper. Chris Nocera shapes the news. He decides what you hear and, more importantly, what you don't. With a basket of in and out cues, transitions, and hours of rendering, the story must go through him in order to be heard. Nocera recently won 2 Emmys this past October for his work on the well-received KHOU Ike special, a project that had close ties to Chris, who, living in the deeply affected town of Seabrook, found himself blurring the lines between creating work and bringing back tough memories.
Yes, it was difficult covering the storm, only because I live here, and hearing some of the stories and speaking with some of my neighbors, when you have the camera and you're shooting your neighbor and they're crying or they've lost everything, it's really difficult to separate yourself from that, but it's something you have to do at the end of the day.
But he didn't let his personal ties affect his work. If anything, it made it more personal.
Do I think my personal experiences with the storm made the project better? Well, it's possible. There were a lot of parts of my town, the town of Seabrook, that were just devastated by the storm. And I work in an industry where I'm lucky enough to get the word out, to show the rest of Houston, the rest of Texas, what happened to my area. So did my personal experience make my project, my stories better? Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but bottom line, I just wanted to get the word out of what happened in our area because we were devastated.
But in the end, the pieces Nocera edits aren't just stories, they're pieces of art. His work has earned acclaim around the country, and in the end, only Chris knows what the power of being the gatekeeper of information really means.
When you're producing and editing a piece, you have a lot of responsibility to deal with. Not only telling the story accurately, but with creative emotion. It's a responsibility, but it's a responsibility that I love.
So what does objectivity in media mean? Sometimes it doesn't mean a reporter who wants to throw his own political views into a story, or some A-list celebrity who wants to keep his latest addiction out of the news. Sometimes it means being a father, a husband, living a life telling stories rather than spurting out headlines. Sometimes it just means living.